Hello, my name's Tuppence. I made this coaster the other day and I love this jellyfish design that I got from Creative Fabrica. So much so that I decided to see if I could cut it out using my laser cutter. So I've cut it out using wood. This is slightly bigger and I've had to amend it slightly. So you can see that I have removed quite a few spaces because I want to use this as a bezel and I want to, use some resin, make this look a little bit like stained glass. As I made this, I suddenly thought, I loved it, but it's a little too small. So I have made it huge. I have made a very big one. In fact, this is so big, it's not going to fit on the screen. So I'm going to do it that way. And this is now going to be my bezel. I'm going to fill all of this with resin. And this is going in my bathroom. Before I just can use this with any kind of resin, I need to seal it. So I want to paint it and then I'm going to stick it down onto my mat. This is a really thick silicone mat. I'm going to use some acrylic varnish to stick this down on the mat and then I can fill it with the resin. Once it's all set, I'll be able to pull that off and I will have my design. So the first thing I need to do is just paint the whole surface. So let me go grab my paint, put some gloves on, and I'll be back. So I want to keep it pretty light because jellyfish are normally pretty transparent. So I've got some of this shimmer paint. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to apply it with a sponge. So it's an acrylic paint. We're just going to see how it goes. I don't know what it'll do, but... So I think it'll keep probably the natural colour of the wood, or near enough the natural colour of the wood. It's just going to add a bit of a shimmer to it, almost like a pale grey. So this is all I need to do, is just apply this. Might need a couple of layers on the top because that is the front face, but otherwise it's just going to be a case of sealing it up. Okay, so I have mixed up a little bit of Apex One Coat. This is a fast cure resin. So I've just got about 10 mils here and I popped it onto another silicone mat. So all I have to do now is just pour this onto my mat. So it looks like a very small amount, because I just need enough to basically cover the back of my jellyfish. All right, so I'm just going to spread this out. And the easiest way to do that is to use my fingers. All right, so let me just grab a tissue. Clean my hands. So I have painted both sides, so I just need to make sure that there aren't any lumps, and there are a little bit of lumps. I dried it with my heat gun, so I've got a few bubbling. So I'm going to use the other side as the back, and I just need to make sure that this gets covered. And it is important that it all does get covered. Okay, let's have a look. That looks pretty good. So I don't need this anymore. Just going to fold that over and remove that from my mat. I will let that dry in a minute. So I'm just going to give this a second or two. There's quite a lot of resin on there. Now it's really important this goes down where I want it to go straight away. So I'm just going to drop it. I can see in my camera. I'm not touching it. That's going to sit there now, and I need to leave this to cure onto the mat. So it's going to take about an hour and a half maybe. It's pretty warm in here, so that should set that onto the mat. I am going to pop something on top of it though, so let me just grab something. Okay, so I've got, it's just a cutting mat. So I'm just going to pop that down on top of it, just to weigh it down and make sure that it is flat and sticks to my mat. And I'll be back once that's cured in place. Okay, so this is not completely cured, but it is stuck down enough. I've taken the top off, and that means it's nice and flat. I've mixed up some more of the same Apex one coat, and now I'm going to use a paintbrush to paint this on top. So I needed to do that after I'd stuck this down onto the silicone mat. Well, I couldn't have put the glass dish on top of it and made sure that it would stay flat. And I'm doing this because I do want a coat of resin on top of this to seal the wood. When I start to add my colours and glitters into the spaces, if I get any on the wood, it's going to be really easy to clean it off and it won't leave any marks or stains. Okay, I'm not going to lie, it was literally like painting with toffee. I've got a little bit left, but it is so sticky and toffee-like. However, it will settle down. I've managed to get it all covered, I think. It looks pretty good. So I just need to leave this now, and because it's quite late, I'm just going to leave this overnight. I'll be back in the morning and I can fill in all of the pieces. All of the resin is now dry and it's time for me to fill this. So I've mixed up 80 mils of JDiction High Gloss. That isn't a fast cure resin, so it should give me enough time to fill these spaces. I've got some silicone cups and I'm going to be using these to add some colour. They're like iridescent film. I think they're often referred to as mica flakes. I've got a multitude of colours. This just came with a resin kit that I had. I'm pretty sure you can buy them separately. And I'm not going to add any resin dye, at least I'm not planning to. I just want to use those to create my colour because the jellyfish is pretty much transparent. Okay, so when I'm filling these spaces in, there's going to be a few areas that I must not put any resin in because there's just a gap at the bottom. They're not actually complete pieces. So I'm using a Sharpie pen just to mark onto my mat that I should not put any resin in there. Because as I'm, ploughing along, I just might get a little bit confused and then the resin will flow out the bottom. So I think I've got all of them. All of the rest of these need to be filled in. So the first colour I want to mix up is, well, it's not really a colour at all. It's just these opal flakes. I've also got this opal chunky glitter. And this is going to be for the main body of the jellyfish. I'm going to mix these colours up as I go along. Now that is a little bit risky because it does mean that I have a lot of clear resin sitting in this pot for a long time. But because some of these areas are quite big, I'm hoping it's not going to take me that long to fill them. So just give these a stir around, make sure that they are all coated in the resin. It's already looking pretty nice. I've got a blob on there, but because I've got that resin already coating the wood, it's fine. I can just quickly wipe that off. I'm also going to add some chunky glitter to this because I want a lot of colour provided by the glitter and the film. Otherwise, this is just going to look like clear resin. I can already see a rainbow of colours in here, so this is going to be a really pretty jellyfish. All right, I'm going to mix that up and then I'll start pouring it into the body. really like the look of the mica films. Some of the chunks are too big and they are not fitting into the channels particularly well. So I am going to switch to glitter. I don't have any red glitter and I need some, so I'm using a little bit of resin dye to tint this opal glitter. So I'm just going to mix that up and I'll pop it into the flower and it will fit better in the smaller channels. Add some rhinestone crystals into these little holes, but I've got nothing to glue them onto, so I've got some clear resin. I'm just going to fill the holes to create a platform so that I can add the rhinestones later. Okay, so obviously I want this to cure a little bit quicker, but it's stuck to my mat, so I can't put that in my curing machine. But I've got these blocks. These are just pieces of wood. They were meant to lift up my laser, but I don't need them for that. So I'm just going to pop them here. I've got them just around the outside of my image. And now I can take my G3, and this is just the top of my G3, and I'm going to pop it over the top. I will snap a photo of that so you can see just how high that is lifted up. I just need to plug this in. So I'm just going to put it on flat, and that is going to give me 140 degrees for 2 hours, and that should be enough to cure this. So I'll be back when this is all cooled down and I can see if I can peel it off of the mat. Okay, this is all cured. Now I just have to try and get this off the mat. So I just need to peel back a little bit. And obviously it would be so much easier if I was to be able to lift this mat up completely. But if I did that, you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to use my fingers to gently prise it away underneath. But there we go. I've got it. So let's have a quick look at the back. And it is just so clean and tidy. I love it. And of course the wood is now all sealed because it's got resin on it. So there are a few little areas that I need to clean up. There's a bit here. So I need to get in with a pair of scissors or a file or something. But for the most part, this is actually okay. Now that I've peeled this off the mat, I can access the back of it, which means that I can stick in these little gems. And I'm going to use some UV bonding resin to do that. So this is the UV bonding resin. And I want to be able to shine the torch up from the back, which is why I've put some clear resin in there already. So I'm just going to put a small blob onto my mat. I just find this the easiest way to do it. And then I can drop some UV resin in there. See if I can use my fingers to pick this up. Probably not. Try to get that to sit in place. And now I have a torch that comes with that kit. It is a USB chargeable torch. Whoops daisy. And I'm just going to angle that underneath and that will cure that, and that is now in place. So I'm just going to do the same to all the other bits. Okay, so I've glued those in and that is all finished. Now I've put a little bit of nano tape. I don't know if you can see it. So I've got a couple of bits of nano tape. So it's like a kind of a gel pad, a silicone gel pad, and it's super sticky. So this is how I'm going to affix it to my bathroom wall. I really love this. I hope that you love this too. My friend Gert suggested that it was a bowl of soup or hot coffee. So I could always put just a handle on here and turn it into a cup of coffee or a bowl of soup. But I think I absolutely love it as a jellyfish. And I really hope that you love it too. It is something that is super simple, really easy. You could totally do this with a Cricut. You would have to stack your pieces. You'd cut the same piece multiple times and stack it, glue it together. I have done that a couple of times on my channel. I will leave links to those videos below if you're interested. But because of the size of this, even something that looks quite intricate, the Cricut could totally handle this. And if you cut it out of something like, I don't know, like a cereal packet or something, then you probably don't need very many layers, maybe 5 layers to give you a decent depth. I hope that you love this. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and you'll be able to come back and see what I'm going to make next time. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.